Hey everyone, Tyler Bristow here with CenterlineMapping.com, and I've got the S900 Plus base and rover combo right out here in front of me. Now you might be wondering, why should I buy two when I could just buy one and use it with the internet? I've got a free network in my state. Why would I want to buy two of these things when I can just buy one and save that money and spend it somewhere else? That's a good question. That's a great question. What are you going to do when you show up and you don't have internet on the job? What are you going to do? I think that's an even better question. What are you going to do when your network is down and they are doing some sort of server update and you drive all the way to a job thinking that you're within proximity to the base and you have internet and you get there and their server doesn't work and now you can't do your job and you drove 3 hours there one way? You just wasted an entire day because you thought that just buying one of these receivers and saving you money up front was going to do the job. No, didn't work on that job. What are you going to do when you have to pay $500 to $2,700 a year for RTK? So let's say you use this receiver once a month and you get your money's worth, and then you might go 6 months without using it, and just to be able to use it again, you've got to pay a $2,700 fee. That's what's happening with people who just buy one of these receivers. They're getting sold an annual subscription, and they cannot use their receiver that they paid money for until they reactivate that RTK network. They're locked in every year to paying $2,700 every single year per receiver. And on top of that, you have to have internet to connect to the network RTK to use it. So you can pay for a service, $2,700 a year, and you can pay for a receiver. And when you get to your first job, if you don't have internet, you can't use your receiver. That is a shame. When you buy two of these receivers, you can use them with each other and avoid having to have internet. You can avoid having to pay an annual RTK network subscription. And you can avoid paying for your software every single year. There's no annual fees for the software, and you don't have to pay for a network because you have your own base. You're going to have two of these. You're going to set your own base up on the job, and then you're going to set your own rover up, and the base is going to transmit corrections to the rover in seconds. You don't need internet. You don't need to connect to a base station on a rooftop 10, 20, 30 miles away. And if I'm telling you, if it's more than 10 miles away, if you go to a job site that's out of the city and away from all these bases, you won't get. If you're paying $2,700 a year and you go to a job site and you're more than 10 miles away, it won't work. And if you're on the border of 10 miles, if you're 5 or 10 miles away from a base, that's when it starts getting really slow. So if you're working in the woods or in environments where it's like a lot of stuff above you, there's buildings everywhere, and you're cutting off views of satellites, using a network RTK does not perform well. If you're in those situations and you have a base and rover, you're going to perform much better because your baseline between your base and rover is going to be like 500 feet. You might, if you're doing long transportation or topos or large boundaries, yes, if you set the base up in the middle of a field and you go way down in the bottom or way across the pasture or way down the section corner line, wherever you go, yes, you're going to get far enough away from these things where you're going to say, okay, well, I need to move the base. So then you just shoot another control point and set the base up closer to where you're working. You're going to leapfrog around a job site. But for the most part, if you're working on small jobs within, 50 acres, you don't have to move the base. 300 acres, you might not have to move the base. And if you get an external radio, you won't have to move the base at all. So don't even worry about having to move the base. You won't have to worry about having internet. You won't have to worry about paying for a network. You won't have to worry about being close to a base station within that network. Those are limitations of buying a cheaper GPS, and it's not cheaper. It's cheaper up front, and guess what? If you get to a job site and you don't have internet and you just drove 6 hours for nothing, You got to turn around and come back the next day. Or you got to go rent a piece of equipment. You've got to go rent a base and rover because you don't have internet there and you can't use your network with it. So now you're losing money. You've lost money on that job. I bet you won't do that job again. I bet you won't use that network RTK again, and I bet you won't do that. I'm telling you, on your first job, you're going to look at it and you're going to go, dang, why did I buy one of these? Why didn't I listen to Tyler and just bite the bullet and spend the money, and now I don't have to worry about any of that? Why didn't I listen to him? I lost money on this job. I wasted an entire day. I'm not doing this again. It wasn't worth saving $8,000. I've got somebody who's losing $6,000 a week in business because they don't trust the single dinky network RTK that they bought from a salesman who told them it would work in the woods, and it's not working. He's traveling everywhere across 3 states doing boundaries in the woods, in the open, here, there, left, right, up, down, everywhere. You want a GPS receiver that does not require an internet to work. You don't want to have to rely on network RTK base stations that are scattered throughout a state, and you're going to hope and pray there's one near your job site. You want to bring one with you. There's 2 right here. I've got one in a box and one in my hand. They're both the same exact receiver, nothing different. They can operate as network RTK, so if you got 2 guys, one guy can take one if he's in the city and you want to risk it and you think he'll have internet. He takes one, you take the other, and now your one initial investment can be used separately on 2 separate jobs. There's many ways you can use these receivers. You don't have to use them as base and rovers, but that's the most reliable, the less depending on third parties, internet, and network RTK to work, for them to work. And again, even if you have internet, even if you pay for a good network and you're right next to that base station that's on a rooftop, right next to your job site, even if all the stars align, you're still relying on multiple third parties for your job to go smoothly and for these receivers that you've spent thousands of dollars on to work. Even if you're 5, maybe let's say you're 10 miles away from the nearest base station, you're paying $2,700 a year. You've got internet. If you're pushing on that threshold of being 10 miles from the base, these are not going to perform well. They're going to perform slow. And you're going to be standing on points longer than you care to. A 1.5, 2 hour job with a base and rover is going to take you 4 to 6 hours. It's going to drag out. Because I've done it. I've tried to use these with a network and they don't work as fast. And you sit there and you're messing and you're fiddling and you're wasting time. It's not productive. If you could get home at 3 o'clock versus 8 o'clock, what time do you want to get home at night? Would you want to get home at 8 o'clock every night, getting the same amount of pay as if you were to get home at 3? I don't think so. You make the same amount of money whether you're home at 8 p.m. or 3 p.m. Which one are you going to want to be home at? That is why it's important to buy a base and rover, spend the extra money, buy high quality equipment that has no strings attached to third parties that are going to ask you for your credit card over and over and over, and you forget to pay them, and then boom, it's shut down. It doesn't work. This becomes a paperweight, or whatever receiver you buy that relies on internet and third party networks, it becomes a paperweight. That's just what they want. Is they want 500 customers paying them $2,700 a year, and they don't even talk to you. They don't even talk to you. What are they doing for you? They stick a base station up on a rooftop and then they just collect income. Yeah, they might switch the bases out every now and then, every couple, 5, 10 years. They might switch base stations around. They might update their receivers. Why? Why would you want to rely on somebody else to do your job when you've got fixed prices that you've got to complete the job for? Why would you want to do that? I mean, imagine if you had to go into your garage and pull a hammer out to put some picture frames up on the wall, and you had to use an app, you had to buy tokens, you had to have internet just for your hammer to work, or a shovel. That's the way it's becoming. People are being taken advantage of, and it doesn't have to be this way. You don't have to have internet to use RTK. Bring your own base, set it up on the job site, connect to it via UHF radio, and go and do your thing. Go and do your thing for 8 hours and you will have no hiccups. I'm telling you. It's the S900 Plus GNSS receivers right here. They've got 2 hot swappable batteries, 1400 plus channels. They communicate with all constellations on multiple frequencies. They've got multipath error mitigation, so they work under trees. You can shoot the same nail twice under a tree and it'll be within hundreds. Okay? You might not want to build a bridge with them. Okay? You might want to use something better, something more precise, but for land surveying through the woods and finding, locating, surveying, measuring property corners, staking out boundaries, doing grade checking, elevation control, anything that's not like a first order class A survey in the middle of a city, building bridges, setting nuts and bolts, you probably wouldn't use it for that. But for your basic, low level, but high level boundary surveying, boundaries got to be very precise. It's got to be precise. You can use these receivers. They're fixed in the woods. You can shoot the same nail twice in the middle of the woods and be under a tenth. Under a tenth with 2 of these. With 2 of these. You could do it with 1, but then again, you have to have internet. You got to be close to a base. And you got to hope and pray all the stars align. Just buy 2 of them. Will you buy 2 of these from Centerline Mapping? Will you? Will you call me if you're in the market for basin rovers and amazing, immaculate, perpetual field software that can do anything that you need to do and more? Will you call me? I'll give you the best price. We provide lifetime technical support. You can't beat these receivers, I'm telling you. They stand up to other leading manufacturers that cost up to $70,000. And it's nowhere close to that. I've used these for 4+ years. I have a background in geospatial. I don't even want to say it because I don't want to jinx myself, so I'm not going to say it. I've passed the FS and the PS exams. I land survey. I do GIS data collection. I survey utilities. I do a lot of work with these. I've done construction layout, 3D, stakeout. I've done a lot of stuff with them. I don't want to sit here and run my mouth about myself, though. I'm not here to impress anybody. I'm here to educate you and help you when you purchase GPS receivers. And I'm asking for the sale. You will not be disappointed if you buy these receivers from Centerline Mapping. Will you buy a basin rover from Centerline Mapping today? I guarantee you, I promise you will not be disappointed. I've had so much good feedback from people who do the same line of work as you. They've bought the wrong receivers and they've wasted so much time trying to get their money back, trying to do jobs that can't be done with the receivers they bought. They've lost business. $6,000 a week is what people are doing and losing because they go with the cheaper receiver. They go with the cheaper receiver. They listen to a salesman who doesn't even use these. They just read from a spec sheet. Sure, they might have 10 years of experience selling, but have they ever used them? Do they understand competition? Like how is theirs better than another one? I can explain how this is better than another receiver in hundreds of ways. So you got to give me a call and let me do that for you. I don't sell on price. I sell on value. I'm not going to sit here and give you a price and just hope and pray you never call me. I am here to give you value. I'm here to give you a great competitive price, but I'm here to support you for the lifetime that you use this receiver. Lifetime technical support. Lifetime. Call me anytime you get stuck or have questions. I'm here for you. I know how to use them. I know how to use the data that comes out of them. I know how to use the software. I know how to do the applications that you might want to do. I don't know everything. I'm not going to tell you I know everything, but I know a whole lot about the receivers and the applications. And I want to make you as productive as possible so you don't get sucked into a cheaper receiver that's going to make you unproductive and give you headaches and nightmares and make you miss out on $10,000 jobs or more. $6,000 a week is what one person told me that they're missing out on because I quoted them one of these basin rover combos right here, the same exact basin rover combo. And he went with the cheapest route. He got his money back because nobody was there to help him. And then guess what? He went with the other one, the next level up. And he's still unhappy with it because it's not even a base and rover. It's a single network RTK that should have never been sold to him for using in the woods. It's not meant for being used in the woods. He's got to pay a $2,700 a year subscription for using a network that he has to have internet on the job to even use. That's the problem with buying cheaper GPS. He's losing $24,000 a month because he didn't buy this. And I'm not making this up. I'm not making this up. He even asked me to give him references. I want to say that he called all these people, other licensed surveyors, and they told him what they thought. And guess what? It didn't work. He still bought the cheapest one. And now he's 6 months behind, missing out on $24,000 a month of income because he can't use the receiver that he bought that was told would work for his application. I'm not here to be mean. If you want to sell GPS, that's fine, but he should have been sold a base and rover. He should have been sold something like this. I spent 4 hours on the phone with him telling him that he should not buy those other receivers, and it's not because I just wanted him to buy mine. I even gave him a big discount. I gave him a break, but I can't make too much of a break because I know after the sale, if I don't make any money on a sale, then I don't want to answer my phone. We put a lot of time in ahead of the sale to set everything up and get it to you and risk it not making its way to you to then have to be able to support you for a lifetime. I've got people that call me 20 times because base and rovers are new to them. Using GPS in general is new to them. Using software is new to them. They're going to call me with questions, and I've got to be able to have margins in there to take time to answer those questions. Because the last thing I want to do is ignore you. I won't do it. I won't ignore you. I mean, if you try to talk to me for 8 hours in one day, I might be like, okay, I got to go. I got to eat. I've got children. I've got a wife. I've got family. I'm not that way. I genuinely want to help you. I want you to learn. I want you to learn the fundamentals. I want you to buy this base and rover setup so that you can use the best, most affordable and reliable receivers on the market. Will you buy a base and rover combo setup from Centerline Mapping today or whenever you get in the market? I'm telling you, I'm here to support you. I'm going to give you the best prices, the most competitive prices, and lifetime technical support to keep you productive. You can't put a price tag on technical support. When you're on a job site and you're starting to get you're sweating, people are waiting on you and you can't figure it out and your other salesman's not answering, you're going to wish you could call me, but you can't because you decided to save some money. You might have saved some money, but now you don't know how to use the equipment and they're not answering you or they want to schedule it for tomorrow, but no, you're on the job now trying to use it. That's why people shop with Centerline Mapping. Will you buy a base and rover combo setup from Centerline Mapping today? Will you buy a base and rover combo setup when you enter the market or when you start shopping around? Will you at least give me a call and let me help you? Give me a call today if you're interested. 757-647-7016. Again, my name is Tyler Bristow. I'm from CenterlineMapping.com. Have a good one.